The recording has started. So I just request everyone, please be on mute because this is a recorded session. We'll try to just take as much as like clarity as possible. So you just turn on, you like just unmute yourself once you have any doubts, or you can just put your messages on the chat. We'll discuss all the like queries and doubts, everything like on the chat also, and along with we can also discuss once you have any sort of doubts we can also discuss after the class. We'll take one-to-one like verbal session also on the questionnaires. So thank you everyone, thank you for joining this session. My name is Rahul. I'm working in SAP from last 9 years on the SAP BTP. I'm just working on last 5 years. I'm working in a company with a like lead technical architect, where I used to develop some different applications on Fury and all other different cloud platform based, where we generally use Cloud Foundry as one of the software to manage our BTP applications. We usually build applications developed on Business Application Studio, hosted on cloud platform, and definitely we have rolled out as a product to our end customers. So this course, like this develop and deploy application in BTP Cloud Foundry, could be, I think there is some background noises. If somebody just joined, please be mute yourself. There are some background noises are coming. It will be really helpful for us to record the session properly. Thank you. So coming to the point, so this course especially develop or design such a way, it will give you an understanding about cloud, not only one cloud, like not only SAP specifically, it will give you the overall overview about cloud, how the cloud market is going on nowadays, how the cloud applications are developed. Specifically coming to SAP BTP, we'll understand the basic BTP architecture, the overview about Cloud Foundry sub account and Cloud Foundry software, and all the different features that we have in Cloud Foundry, or not only Cloud Foundry, on the BTP in overall. Like we are having so many features. If somebody comes to a BTP, if somebody's company is planning to like transform from cloud, like on premises to cloud, at the time, what are the like options you have, and what are the like plan you can able to take it for rolling out your applications or migrate your existing application. Those things will understand first. What are the different cloud features that we have, coming from the security standpoint to the infrastructure, at the same time application development, what are the softwares and what are the services we're going to use it, how to use it, how generally it comes to the costing, how SAP is charging those services, how will you activate those services, how will you use those services, because everything actually we're going to like understand in detail. Then we'll also develop some of the application and see how we can host those application into cloud BTP. That should be the like major agenda of this entire course. This will be really helpful for who does not coming from the background of the coding, because it will help them for understanding the BTP, how the BTP market is, how to deal with different services provided by BTP, what is the architecture of BTP, specifically Cloud Foundry, how it is performing, and it will also give an understanding about how to roll out or how to migrate their existing application from new to Cloud Foundry. Those sense it will be really understanding for those people who are not coming from the coding background. Like as an example, anything from the functional or a project manager doesn't have knowledge on coding. Also, they'll be getting a kind of hands-on experiences on the coding side, where I'll be just introducing a minimalistic coding where the drag and drop and all those things will be coming. So nothing to worry about if you are not having a very huge or heavy coding background. Whatever is required for the course will take you from the root. So need not to be worried about anything. And who are from the coding background, uh, for them there should be a bit advantage, because understanding of the fact should be much easier. But anyway, we'll be explaining from the root only. And if somebody is a citizen developer, understanding or trying to understand the like overall BTP, definitely it will be the right platform for you. So in today's session, we're going to talk about more about cloud, the cloud computing, the different service models provided by SAP Cloud, and definitely the overview of SAP BTP and Cloud Foundry. And then we'll show you like how will you create an account in SAP BTP. So let's start today's session. I hope this course will be really interesting, and I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. Let me know if you have any doubts or if you have sort of improvements to be required. Instantly, we'll try to apply and make it the best for you. So now coming to the cloud computing. So in today's market, one thing we should understand, like when you talk about any cloud, because people are talking about cloud nowadays very often, but the root is coming from a cloud computing. Now, what is a cloud computing? This understanding is very much important. Like when I once I ask someone like what is a cloud computing, what people answers, they're answering like it is something is hosted on cloud and we're using it. But that is not the right approach to understand cloud computing. Let me try to give you a use case and make you understand what is cloud computing. This is the root of any cloud understanding. Let's say I am a company owner and my company are having a number of users, you know, and those users are basically, I'm just giving my company name. It is an ABC farm. Now, this ABC farm, we are having some list of users. Now, what we have planned with a new startup company, let's say, you know, we have just recently came to the market with a big vision. But the problem is we don't have much investment. Our investment is bit low right now, and we don't have a big budget as well. But we are planning to build some sort of application which is the market standard. Now, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to build something, at that point of time, I need some setup. That setup is basically a sort of softwares, or at the same time, some sort of hardware. So this is my setup is required to start my business. But as I said, I'm a new like startup. I don't have big budget. So what I can do, if I plan for hosting my softwares and hardware, I need to purchase it. So if I purchase it, I need to pay a huge amount of money. So rather going to this approach, what I'm doing is I'm doing renting resourcing. So what I'm doing is I'm renting some resources. What is this resources meaning? The resources means I am just taking some of the resources which comes to a database and a hardware and some set of softwares. We're just renting these resources from a well-known company provider. As an example, AWS. So in this category, if I go plan for this one, let's say I'm having 100 users. So what I can ask, I am having 100 users. You give me the setup for 100 users to start. Then if you think of comparing, the investment was very much high here. But in this process, in this option, I should not pay much money. So the investment would be bit low here. I can at least start my business. I can at least process my things without having my own set of infrastructure. What I'm doing it, I'm just renting some resources from someone. So this is called a cloud computing. Okay. Now, when it comes to this setup, you should be having some sort of software, some sort of hardware on the base, some database, and definitely a server to host your applications. Now, if you think of that your roadmap is for 10 years. Now, if you're planning for 10 years, and you know, like optimally your number of users also going to increase from 1000 to say 100 to let's say 1500. That is your plan. Now if you are going for a larger vision where you have a 10 years of plan in your mind, then the cost is required to do your own setup would be less in compared to the cost you are going to pay for your this many users per monthly subscription or something. So here that cost would be more in compared to the 10 years vision. Now the cloud computing has its own advantage and disadvantage in this area. If you are very new, you don't have anything to start, you can rent resources. At that time, you will be getting less cheaper, like or it will be more cheaper for you to run your business for a certain users that you have. But if you compare with a broad vision where you're having a 10 years of vision at a time, at that time, the total cost that you are going to spend with this model would be lesser in compared to this model. So this is called a cloud computing. Now, AWS, one of the cloud provider. Similarly, we are having so many. We are having Google. Okay. So this is called a basic of cloud computing. I hope it understand make you understand like what basically the cloud processes are. So here, as a user, let's say today's class is all about using Cloud Foundry SAP Cloud Platform. So as a user, what we're going to do, we're going to use some of the resources of SAP Cloud where we're not renting. We're using the free version. Either it's a free trial or it's a free tire. Okay, makes sense? Now, this is a cloud computing. Now, going to the next thing, like once you know cloud computing, the second thing automatically comes to mind like, okay, I understand that I can rent resources. But what are the different service models are available to rent resource? Some type is there, no? Some catalog should be there, no? I'm a new company to this industry. I should know what resources I'll be choosing it, or what are the type of services are available to choose for me. So for that, I'll open up the service models for cloud computing. Now, if you try to understand the service models of cloud computing, there are three type of cloud cloud computing service models are available. Now, this is very common to every cloud, not only specifically for your like this SAP. It is for everywhere. This is my fast category. In the fast category, what I'm doing it, I'm doing it as paying for AWS softwares. I'm only paying for my softwares. This is my number one option. Number two option is I'm paying for hardware and software infrastructure. And number three, I'm paying only for the hardwares. Now, there are three options. A company can choose it while it comes to renting resource. Now, once it's come to renting resource, I can rent in three different ways. The first one, what it is saying, like it is saying, like I can rent some resources. There is sorry, some software in the sense, like I'm not going to bother about the hardware infrastructure. I'm just going to use some sort of a software, which is a cloud-based software. Cloud-based software means it may be your, let's say we are doing it MS Teams, right? It might be a Zoom, it might be a Slack. So all these are the softwares and it is commonly used by so many people. So that's why, like, if we go and use any of this already available software, we need not to understand what is the hardware setup, where is their DB hosted, What is the hardware like configurations? I don't care about that. What you did, you have just went to the software, installed the software, and you are hosted, logged in, and using it. Sometimes people are using is a, let's say, trial version, or somebody will be using a paid version, but you're using only the software. Some of the companies going for these subscriptions also only pay for their softwares. That is the first category. Number third category, some of the companies they will choose to pay only the hardware. So what is the hardware meaning here? The hardware meaning comes here is, let's say, for my setup, I for my company, I need to have a big set of hardwares. Where big set of hardwares means, let's say I'm giving 64 GB of RAM. I might need, let's say, 100 terabyte of hard disk, and let's say I'm expecting 8 core CPU, and I need this kind of devices 10 pieces. So this sort of device configurations always comes with a higher cost, isn't it? And if I don't have that much of money to manage it right now, then I can definitely go to that particular service provider that I wanted to rent resources as a hardware only. This I can go. This is the number three category. The first one, I can only pay for my softwares. Third one, I can pay for my hardwares to AWS, renting those resources. And there is one more category, paying for the hardware and software infrastructure. This is a very important category. In this category, what people are saying is that, boss, I am going to take hardware as well as software. That does not mean that I need a hardware, one hardware or 10 hardwares. It may be 0 to n number of hardwares, anything I can install it. What you can do, give it to me is, you are going to give me a software. The software, so this is a part two. The software would be acting as a platform, and this software, it will be acting as a platform, and it should be capable, you know, this should be capable to manage all the hardwares, whatever is available in that. What does it mean? Mean, let's say you are going to use as a platform, like ultimately you are going to create as an operating system, and that operating system should be having running with a software, and that software is capable to manage all the hardwares are available in that, not only a specific to 0 to 2 or 0 to 5 hardwares. It should be n number of hardwares, whatever I'll be installing it, the software should be manageable, or it will be capable to manage all software. So I am asking for a platform, the platform with the infrastructure setup where it is having a hardware and software, and the softwares are well capable to manage the hardwares. This is a setup we are looking for. Now, this approach, when a company is a small, they can do it. This approach also medium to small. This approach generally does from a medium to big company. So again, it is not only the capability of the company or the sizes, it depends on like what is the need of the company. Sometimes a big company also asks for a only software like a MS Teams, Zoom or Slack. Okay. Also big companies sometimes go for a hardware resources to rent it. And this is one more option called as paying hardware and software infrastructure as a whole as a platform. This is also capable to manage your entire business. So these are the three models and the offerings are available. Now this one called as SaaS, software as a service. This one called as infrastructure as a service. This one called as platform as a service. So this is the three offering generally any service provider in cloud provides you. SaaS services, only paying for the softwares, infrastructure services, paying for building your infrastructure, platform as a services to provide the software and hardware capabilities to set up your own platform. Understandable? Now, going to the third one, you understand now what is a cloud computing, what are the service models are available in cloud computing. Now I'm going to give you an example in lifetime which will make more sense to you to understand. So this is a very basic example provided by so many companies and so many, like it's a very common example who generally keeps to understand this SaaS, PaaS and infrastructure as a service. Once come to this example, let's say I am a new person to the city. I'm a new person. Let's say I'm basically coming to this city. So this guy, once he's come to this city, what he can do, as the city is completely new, he can rent a hotel, he can stay, and this hotel generally cost based on per night, it would be give you some amount. Once you stay in a hotel, you can also plan for a furnished apartment. This also, let's say, cost you 1 month wise. You can also choose for a non-furnished apartment. This also cost you per month. Now, once it's come to this, see the three different options he has. The first option, he's talking about like I can rent a hotel. Generally, the hotel price costs are more. Why it is more? Because you will get all the facilities, starting from a bed to make it basically one chair for your work. You also may get like washrooms, everything attached, all the facilities, AC, TV, everything is there in the room. So everything is ready-madely available. You are just paying for the bill of the hotel. That should be per night. Now, once you paid that amount, so that should be basically your charges that you're going to spend it. Now, if you're going for a furnished apartment, in this furnished apartment, you'll be paying for a month, but you'll be also getting definitely some sort of amenities. You should be having, let's say, a sofa, you should be having one television, you should be having one cupboards, you'll be having a few more amenities also. Now, if you compare between these two options, the price for 30 days, you'll be spending more here in compared to the price that you're going to spend for the furnished apartment. This should be bit cheaper actually, because you can here you can also having some sort of other extra like investments, like you need to pay for your food per day. Here you can cook your own food. Now, if you compare between these two, in this you don't have all the amenities. So starting from the scratch, you need to set up your own amenities by yourself. You need to purchase your own TV. You need to purchase your own sofa, right? You need to purchase all your amenities, whatever it is required for you, and you can set up that. So here the cost again it will become bit down. But feature point of view, if you think the feature point of view also, you'd be not having much features available right now. You need to build your own set of features. You need to own set of infrastructure you're going to set it up. So this is the different examples of your cloud computing. So this one, you are using the software as a service, just paying for the software that you're going to use. Platform as a service, you're going to use all the platform capabilities, which is already ready-madely available. You are just using it. But it is not like you can also you can also like purchase some of your amenities which is not there and which is required for you. That also an extra additional things that you can also add it in that platform. And this one, infrastructure as a service, you can setting up your own infrastructure. They'll be having some sort of hardware like the building is available here. So this is a common example we usually give it on any when it comes to a cloud computing. So here the understanding is basically the cloud computing offers you different service models to choose for the customer or the company, like which offering you are going to go with. It may be a SaaS offering, it may be a PaaS offering, it may be IaaS offering. If somebody is trying to get only the softwares, they're okay to go with a SaaS offering. If somebody is going to get only the hardware setup for the infrastructure and they're having their own IT team to build or install the software top of it, they can go with this IaaS. And if somebody is going to take as a platform, as a software, then what they can do is they can go with the platform as a service, PaaS, where they would be having a bulk of hardware and a software combined setup, which will be acting as a platform or an OS operating system to manage all their applications going to be hosted there. So these are the three offerings and service models are available in cloud. Make sense or having any doubt? Guys, a quick feedback, understanding, making it so difficult to understand.
No, it is quite fine. No problem.
Fine. Thank you for the confirmation, Ravi. Now coming
So
back to the
basically,
yeah,
the software plus hardware is something will take a cloud space, which includes all the, which is pre-installed with all the OSs and everything. We
correct.
can readily use it. Is that right?
Yes, that's the concept. Yeah.
So
Okay.
hardware means like we will take the hardware and we will build it from scratch with whatever the softwares that are required, and we have to pay the licenses for all those softwares.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Now
A quick
let's
question.
yeah, please.
So, in the first example, first slide, you said in the long run, 10 years vision, if I have, that will be cheaper if I do in house, right? So, why all these bigger companies going for cloud?
I'll tell you one thing. It is not always like see there are so many calls basically a bigger companies also having it. I'll tell you why. Because they won't like there are some of the features or some of the like a software OS setup would not be very easily handled in your on-premise system. When it comes to like your on-premise system, your existing on-premise system also holds some sort of data, and it is also having some sort of capabilities to manage your internal infrastructure. Now, let's say today I'm building one company, and I know what is my requirement, and like and what I have done, like I have just based on my requirement, I have started investing my money to build my infrastructure. My 5 years goal was to come to this level where I can able to build some sort of applications or some sort of build some sort of products with this sort of features with the market standard. This is my goal, let's say. Now I am just running and pushing myself to set my setup for the next 5 years to build this. But the problem, there are so many things are changing in this technological space. If you talk about the IT, it is changing rapidly. And suddenly you are building an OS with this capability. Tomorrow it got changed to something else. But you should not be losing the track that you have promised yourself that I have to be in the market standard. But when it comes to like setting up your initial setup and to be parallel with the market standard, which is very difficult, where the problem is coming, and most of the companies are planning for this hybrid approach. Like they're always called like I am basically a hybrid model. I used to work. I'm having my own like on-premise setup. I also do it in cloud. Why? Because they know very well, like if they don't take some space on the cloud, because cloud every month one or two upgradations supposed to be happen. which is very tough to take the call when it comes to the infrastructure of on-premise. Now, if they don't have that setup, or if they don't have that resources capability, they won't be able to be in line with the market. So that's what every companies, they would be having a very solid infrastructure on the let's say your this on-premise system. But when it comes to the cloud services, as this is frequently changing and upgradations are happening, they have to have one sort of space to be there, either to do some sort of play and like plug and play, and to test, to build some POCs, to create some of the products, and to be in line with the market. So now some of the companies, which is a big companies, they're able to move out this on-premise and directly go to the cloud. Whatever the cloud is there, I'll be taking care, and all the offerings, whatever it is available, upgradation, I will take care. I'll be there in the cloud only. Some companies are there always. Like they also take all the decisions on the cloud. Some of the companies, they're very afraid to go to cloud in terms of the data security. They used to think like I might be lagging my data. I might not be able to deal with the sensible data that I have in my company with the cloud platform, because we're not sure about the data security, where it is hosting, how they're processing the data. So those questions also comes. But most of the companies always bring one sort of options for them to be practicing on the cloud, and what is exactly happening to be understand and create some sort of products out of it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Now coming back to the
What
next. Yeah,
what is the difference between the public cloud and private cloud? Is there anything, Sam?
it is there. I'll come there. You
Okay,
get to
okay.
know. Yeah, it is there, private cloud and public cloud. And when I talk about this SAP account overview, at the time I'll extend that. Okay. So let's
Okay, thank you.
proceed with yeah. So let's proceed with the next one. So we understand about the cloud computing, service models of cloud computing. We also understand about all the other setup, that how basically you can rent resources. Now, once it's coming to this BTP, once you come to this BTP, BTP is nothing but it is a PaaS offering. It is a PaaS offering where we are going to rent resources, or we are going to paying for building a platform. What is a platform mean? Now understand it. This concept is very important to understand. So when I say PaaS offering, you already understood that I should be having software plus hardware. Now the software plus hardware, what exactly it is going to do? So when it comes to this PaaS offering, this SAP, they are smartly providing a list of services. You can use workflow, BRF, mobile services, business application studio, build process automation, and there are so many other services that are also available. So they are saying, boss, I'm having some list of already built product that you can use as a service. Also, we are capable to provide you on platform. What the platform means here, understand this. This is one platform. In this platform, they're having some software layer and they're having a hardware layer. Now, this is basically my software layer, and this is my hardware layer. Now, this software and the softwares are well capable to manage your all hardwares. How, what does it mean to manage your hardwares means? Let's say, as a user, what is the most important thing for me? I'm having an app. I'm asking BTP, hey BTP, I'm going to use this app. I'm going to deploy this application to the platform. What am I supposed to do? Now, what BTP is saying, that boss, I already having one platform. I'm already having an operating system. Operating system is basically the software which is managing the entire platform. Operating systems, there are different operating systems are already available in BTP, which is one of that name is Cloud Foundry, and on another name is Schema environment that you already heard. These are the different softwares are already available. This is acting as an operating system to manage all the hardwares here. Now, what it is doing, you're asking, hey BTP, I wanted to deploy this application. BTP is throwing this application to this OS. He's asking, hey OS, you manage this application. Now, in this software layer, under the software layer, they are having different hardware setup. What are the hardware setup? You'll get to know in the next slide. In this hardware setup, what OS is doing, it is creating a small container. You are defining in this application. Boss, for running this application, I need, let's say, 500 and 1200 MB of space. It required 512 MB. So it is having a huge setup. Out of the huge setup, it is just creating a small container and assigning this memory, 512 MB. Now you are saying like, boss, this application I have developed, I am going to give this application for 10 users for testing. Now he knows very well, operating system understood, okay, 512 MB space is good enough for you. Now in this space, the application has been hosted. The application can be run and managed. The application can be enhanced. At the same time, the same application, you can go and use all the other BTP services. Today, when you build the application, if you'd like to use the mobile service or business application studio or build process automation, you can use it. This is their offering. Understand the offering. They're not only give you a space to host your application to run and manage. Run and manage means you are running it and you are also managing means today, let's say you're building an application. Now, the application you don't know whether the application will be very good or it will be host. That automatically come out like the result would be come out based on the acceptance of the application, right? If more number of users are using it, that means your application is a hit application on your organization. Now, once it is a hit means definitely the demand will be more and more number of users to be installed the application, isn't it? More number of users will be given access to the application. That means you need to manage it. I'm talking about the scaling part here. Today you have scale up with the 10 users, but you're not sure, right? The application may be hit and may be used for 1,000 users also. So in that capability, BTP is saying, I'm ready. I'm giving you to host. I'm giving you to manage. How much users you want to scale? Take a call. I'm ready to give you two kind of like scaling. One is a horizontal scaling. One is a vertical scaling. Today the application is running on, let's say, one machine, or you want to extend to like 150 machines. So this comes with the horizontal scaling. You can use or increase the number of machines here. And vertical scaling means increasing the memory. You know very well, the machines are increased, the number of users are increased, the memory also need to be increased. They're saying we are flexible with this, both horizontal as well as vertical like scalability. We are ready with that. Now you give your application, take the decision. So they are giving you application to host, they're giving an application to run and manage. They're able to give you to an option to enhance it also. Top of that, they are providing some sort of existing services to be also used. So this is where SAP BTP is going to be playing a very crucial role for managing and hosting your application. So which is come under this BASH offering, platform as a service. Make sense? So here, Cloud Foundry is the software which is coming here and which is managing all the hardwares here. Now in the next slide, I'll talk you zoom about this Cloud Foundry and make your confusion about this hardware and software part. So understand, as a BTP, it is a PaaS offering from SAP. It helps you to host the application. Now, if you ask this application to be hosted to the BTP, it will throw to the OS. It'll create a small container. Inside the container, you can put your application. If the application is built it in Node.js, or it is built in Java, or it is building it in Go, whatever the software, whatever the coding language you have used it, in this space, all the models, all the modules, all the prerequisites libraries, everything would be installed. And once you increasing the scaling, either vertically or horizontally, you can also scale this application to a larger audiences. So this is the main business or the main process of BTP. when it comes to this PaaS offering. So they're also providing a list of services to make use all the services, and your application should be smart enough to like handle those services, and you can use it for to be on the market standard, and you'll be also using some of the BTP services. Means your application will be also having some sort of uh, what do I say? Like it should be having data intelligence. It may be having some of the other features that you have, workflow, process automation. So application will be smart enough also. So now the other point of view. Now once you deploy the application, the first and foremost question will be coming, right? The security about the application. Now the security also one of the feature provided by SAP BTP. They're saying we are having proper authorization, we're having proper authentication. Now authorization, authentication, all the processes are available inside your SAP BTP to secure your application. You can also create different roles, role collections to assign what role it is required for the users to provide. You can give it some of the other access, like if somebody wants to use some sort of feature only to display, create those things also, you can build up top of it. So all the different possibilities SAP BTP they are providing is as a platform to manage your application. And Cloud Foundry, here the software is helping us to manage the entire platform. The Cloud Foundry is one of them. We're having also Kaima. We also had previously new. So these are the softwares which is basically building the OS to manage your software and hardware properly. So this is about the BTP. What it is exactly doing is with a PaaS offering. Now coming to the next one.
One question here,
Yeah.
like you said, yeah, Neo. What is the difference between exactly we are using recently WebID, Neo, and everything. So what exactly the difference between this and the Cloud Foundry?
Yeah. So see that the difference is here when it comes to the software as a service. Sorry, when it comes to the software differences, the environmental differences, when it Cloud Foundry, you are renting resources from different other clouds. Let's say, as an example, let's say I'm giving an example. You are going to um, you are going to huh, let's say you just came out from your home for a market for doing some sort of like uh, shopping. Now, what you do first, you should generally we used to go to some specific shops. Let's say I went for a first I'll take some medicine, then I'll take some groceries. What you will do? You will go basically to a medicine shop where you'll go and purchase some sort of medicines for your or your family. Then you'll go to the grocery shop. Then you'll just purchase some sort of groceries. Now, I'm giving you an example. I'm giving you one stationary big showroom where you inside that you'll be getting medicines, also you are getting groceries, you're also getting some sort of clothings, you're also getting some sort of others different like let's say some uh, children toys and all those things are also available. It also having so many other facilities. Where will you go? You'll definitely go to the second option, because I know if I go to this one shop I can able to manage everything. So what is the difference here is when it comes to Cloud Foundry, it is providing the resources from a different other service providers. Amazon Cloud Service, which is majorly used. You're having Google Cloud Service. They can also talk to different, like it is a concept of multi-target like process or multi-cloud process. But here, in the first example, it is having a specific one. Getting my point? So now, when it comes to a specific one, you are limiting the boundaries. Now, it is not like new is been disabled. It is not disabled. It is removed from the trial account. But there are so many companies who don't want to go with this Cloud Foundry of multi-target concept, but they are okay with new. They knows like our business is doing this. What are the services are available in this new? I'm okay with that. So that's what SAP is not declared new as a dead one. They have just removed it one, and there are so many companies, including our company, also using new. and we're using also Web ID. But they're focused into Cloud Foundry as because it is having more opportunities in terms of you can talk to different clouds. You can also build it some of the applications which is not only a specific language. You can build a server side coding. You can build some client side coding. Like let's say as a when the Web ID started, as you take an example. So for those who don't know Web ID is basically one of the service provided by SAP to build SAP Fury application. Now initially when Web ID built it, you can only able to build some UI5 applications, isn't it? Now they have given an option later point in time. They have given an option while choosing creating the application where you want to host it is in Neo or Cloud Foundry. They have enabled this option. Because at that time they are slightly building that space. But they knew very well if we don't move to if we are built to a strict one space, if we don't open that like door to go and explore the other multi-target multi cloud space, then we won't be able to manage our application. Because today as a company, it is not that I'll be only developing application in UI5. If I take a cloud space, I may be developing application in Python, Node.js. I may be develop application in Java, Ruby, Go, all sort of softwares. It might be some of them are in client side, some of the applications built or some of the softwares are getting built on the server side. I should be giving a space for them to host those applications, isn't it? And to tell me one thing, if and one more also, I mean, option was not available in new. If you can't be able to change or can't be able to scale the application based on your need. In Cloud Foundry, once you deploy the application, it automatically opens up, and as I said, no, it will be creating one space for you like this, and that space is up to you. Today, if you're giving 512, tomorrow if you give it 1024 MB, nobody will ask a question. That is your call because you want to scale this application. But in new, it will be fixed stack. You won't be able to increase also. If suddenly your application have a huge number of users to use it, their application may it may not perform properly. So understanding of those things, they understood like if we go with strict to a new, it will be a problem. Am I able to make answer your question?
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Now, so this is one the BTP overview. What I understood from here, like BTP is basically a PaaS offering. They're able to manage and host their application with some sort of services. Yet Cloud Foundry is nothing but the software is managing the software and hardware. I'll give an example that will be much more clear to you on business use case. Let's say now, let's say I am going to build an application, and this is for my sales application. Now, this sales application, what I want to build, the main motto of this sales application is to, the main motto of this application is to register the stores details of my, let's say, distributors. So this application main agenda, our sales manager of my company, they will take this application along with them. They will be working on the field and they are going to talk to different distributors and they can register the new distributors and get to know about their details, their income, like how much sales they generally do for a per month. And based on the evolution, they will give basically the license to sell their product as an example. And I use now this is basically one application you want to build it. Now, as I said, I need to store the detail of my distributors. Then I should be having one database to store all the details. Now, this is my business requirement. Now, once it's come to this requirement, what we will do? We'll approach to build the application. Now, let's say first assume it. I am having this option, my on-premise, and I'm giving the most priority to it. It's my first priority. I'm thinking, boss, can I do it in on-premise system? Now, of course you can do. Now the second option, what we have, you can also develop the same thing in BTP as my secondary option. BTP you can do or not? Yes, you can also do it in BTP. Now let's compare the things. Why people will go for on-premise? Why people will go for BTP? If we go to BTP, what are the advantages we'll be getting it? If we go to on-premises, what are the options and what are the advantages and disadvantages we'll be having? Now, if you compare this application between this on-premise and cloud platform BTP, the first thing is coming that you are going to use this application to store the details of my distributors. I need a database. On-premise is having the database, which is perfect. But on-premise already having some sort of data integration and data management. They're having some sort of masters maintained in different tables. But distributors, we didn't deal with much in my on-premise system. If you would go and like to integrate this, then either I need to create a Z table to store all the details about this on-premise, all my distributors, details of my distributors to this on-premise system. Then again, if I go and migrate this on-premise to later point in time to somewhere else, again I need to talk about this headache of data integration and data migration. So, and we know this application is also not something like it will be having a huge data. It's a small data. Hardly will be having some 1,000 or 2,000 distributors in my area. Now we can do it in on-premise. It is not like we can't do. We can do it in on-premise. We can create a Z table. We can use our existing database to build it, and we can also use it as a custom development. Now, when it comes to the second option, like the BTP, you can do or not. Yes, you can also do it. You can also use the BTP databases. It may be with the Postgres database, which is OpenDB is available. We can use a SQL database. We are having the HANA database. We can use any of the database, and we can also use the same data, whatever we are just asking for the distributors to fill it. We can also store it. Now, coming to the technical team perspective, there are some questions are available. Like which coding language you are going to develop this application. Now here you're actually asking the different questions where to host it, either on-premise or BTP. Once it's coming to this on-premise question, let's say the coding, the technical team, they're saying, let's build it in Node.js. Because if you use Node.js, we are able to use so many other features as an example. Or somebody is saying, let's build it in UI5. Now, again, if somebody said like I'll be using UI5, that means they're going to use basically a client-side programming language. Node.js is server-side programming language. It is not that it has to use Node.js. It can't be used UI5. Yes, you can use UI5. If you build an application in UI5, you can definitely deploy the application in your on-premise as well as also BTP as per your choice. If you build it in Node.js, you won't be able to host it easily here. You can host it, but you need to do some other setup. But here you can also easily host it. Now, hosting and scaling. This is one factor where BTP is having more advanced feature. As I said in the last slide, like hosting and scaling depends upon how the acceptance of your application is. If the acceptance is very good, then definitely it has to be scaled. And BTP is giving you one single option to enhance or scale your application either in a horizontal or vertical or horizontal. You can do it without any impact. On premise, you can't do it very easily. Coming to the security and authorization, both the platform on premise and cloud both are secure and can be managed securely. There is no question about it. Data integration and data migration in cloud, it would be much easier and faster on compared to on premise. Now, why I've just given these differences, The differences I have given for, like, you are able to build an application and deploy in both on-premise and cloud. Now, one more important factor out of this 4 point is the SAP BTP services. In on-premise, you can build your UI5 application and deploy it to the on-premise system, or an HTML application, deploy it to here. But when it comes to using the BTP services, let's say I want to give a push notification. Okay. I want to use some sort of a workflow. I want to use CPI. I want to use, let's say, an automation, a chatbot integrated. This should be much easier for you to access it once you deploy the application over BTP in compared to the on-premise. Because on-premise, you would be lagging those BTP services problem issues. You need to again activate those
Hello.
Hello, is it
Yeah.
audible?
Now
So,
it's audible.
Yeah, now audible. Yeah, please have. Okay. So now coming to this one, so the BTP survey, as I was discussing, it is not like that the application cannot be used in on-premise and BTP. It can be used it, but once it is coming to the BTP, that you would be accessible to all the services available on the BTP, and you can use any of the services to use it wisely in your application. So that should be basically the choices that you can give it to the technical team and your architect to choose it, which mode to go and which mode not to go, and what services to use, what services not to use. Okay. Now coming to the next one, once you understood
Uh,
about this,
I have a question here. So, with respect to this, so on-premise, can we implement this Node.js application, or better to implement it in the UI5? Which one you can recommend?
it always goes to the cloud one, because on premise there will be some sort of limitations in terms of, because you need to set your own server there to host it, but BTP would be having its own offering of servers.
Okay,
Okay.
I mean, okay.
but
So with
but
the BTP, so what kind of technical application can we choose, either Node.js or UI5?
you can choose both, but there are some different use cases are available. You'll get to know, like, once you will be choosing the applications, at that time you'll get to know which type of application to choose for what scenarios will come that. Okay.
Okay, but I just want to add one more thing. So, most of the cases, some customers may not have the BTP platform, right? Still, they might be continuing with their on-premise. So, in that cases, so still Node.js will have the more advantage compared to this UI5.
It's not, it's they both the coding languages are having a different advantages, and both the coding languages having a different perspective of usage. It is not like if you need to use always Node.js, UI5 also able to manage things, but both are different two problem, like having a two different use cases actually. Where you are going UI5, there you might not be able to use Node.js, but it is not required also. So it is, both the things are having a two different advantages and disadvantages, two are different perspectives actually. One is server side coding, one is a client side. So it's not like that you Node.js is not there means it will be having a problem for UI5. Okay.
Okay,
It will much clarified for you once come to this application development.
okay,
Okay. Yeah.
thanks.
Now the
so
last one. Yeah.
one more question. So here the Node.js is like a scripting language. Like again, we'll use the UI5 along with the Node.js, or the app will totally be built on the Node.js.
It is vice versa actually. You can build it totally in Node. You can also use
Okay.
Node inside the UI5 also.
Okay.
Okay.
And the backend will always be our data. So for interacting with the ECC or any backend system.
Yeah, it can be. So I'll just come to that point only. It will not be only UData. You can also use some of the cloud, I mean, this also cloud database also. Like we're having Postgres, so we'll use both the O database HANADB and also we'll be use some REST API based Postgres, which is over the cloud.
Okay.
Yeah. So now coming to the this slide. So with last slide, what we understood that if somebody is building an application above, or let's say a sales app application, and that we have planned to we can use in both in on-premise as well as cloud. Now, when it comes to this, like choosing, I think can I think somebody is not in mute. Can you please make yourself mute? I think there is one like feedback we got it. It's better to take all the questions at the end. Let's do that. I think otherwise might be somebody is having problem to like concentrate. Okay, we'll take all the questions at the last. We'll take the suggestion and let's keep it put a just question on your chat. We'll take at the last and we'll discuss about more in detail. I'll keep some 30 minutes time to discuss all the questions. Let's go that. But there is also some there is some feedback. If the yeah I'll take a note of your questions which feels to be given answer instantly. Let's take it, which is related to your doubts on the specific topic that you are going on, and then we'll discuss which to be discussed in the last. Let's say we'll discuss in detail. I think both you can understand, right? The like you understand, right, what I'm trying to say. So let's put the question here. We'll discuss. So now coming back on the Cloud Foundry specific application, what we said in the last slide, that once somebody given an application to develop, it's the call of the developer or the technical architect where to go. Now, I'm choosing I'm not going to on-premise in this case because we're going with a cloud course. Let's go and understand what are the possibilities in the cloud. On-premise, we know, like we can create a database, we can use our existing OData services, we can build our own OData services, and you can store the data into the table, you can extract it, do a card operation. That's quite like okay to do it. Now it comes to this BTP. Now let's say I have decided for this application, I would just go to this BTP cloud platform. Totally, it will be a BTP product. It should be a BTP product. Now, why I'm using a BTP product? For only one reason, it should be a product. It should be a product. If I am a SaaS company, like I'm a software service based company, I can use or I can sell this product to my other customers also. So one solution I have built it, I can roll out to multiple customers. If we think in that perspective, BTP might be one of my good choice for building any product because it should be, you can also cost and charge them based on the usage, based on the services they have used, and based on the features that you have integrated. So in that idea, SAP BTP helps you to create a SaaS based product. Understand this. This is a very important topic. We'll discuss more in detail when we talk about all the service activation. So remember, this product can be sold to your other customers and you can charge them based on the feature they are using into this entire BTP along with their usage, and you can also add in your some margin for selling this entire product. Now, coming back, as a technical architect, I have designed this application to be hosted on this BTP, and I have chosen this application source code. Let's say this application I'm giving it should be UI5, and I'll be also using Node.js. Both I'll use. This is my application. Now this application, once I am going to deploy it, how exactly this is basically the Cloud Foundry overview. Okay. Now what exactly Cloud Foundry will do, understand this. By the time I was talking about always, it will create a platform. If you remember, I was talking about, it will create a platform and a OS basically, which is a mix of some softwares, and there should be some hardwares layer where we're having different hardware layers, and softwares are basically well managed where I mean it is having a proper setup to manage all the hardwares. So this is the setup. See, what we can't see on the background of Cloud Foundry, BTP, it is having different hardwares. Let's say this is an XXL hardware, big size, extra large size. This is, let's say, XL size. This is, let's say, L size. We're having different hardwares available. XXL means I'm just referring something with, let's say, 128 GB of RAM, 10 terabyte of hard disk, and let's say 8 core CPU. Let's say Excel, I'm just giving it some references like, let's say, 64 GB of RAM, some 5 TB of hard disk, and 4 core CPU. Now we're having some sort of setups like this. A small one also available. Let's say it's a simple one. It's having a 16 GB of RAM. Let's say I'm having 1 terabyte of hard disk and 4 CPU core, like 4 core CPU. Now, once you have developed the application, now the application has been developed in Business Application Studio. Okay. Now from Business Application Studio, there is a connection to deploy your application into Cloud Foundry or to your BTP. Now, once you develop the application and deploy it here, it is coming to this Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry, what it is doing, it is choosing, this is one 16 GB RAM, 1 terabyte memory. Out of that, as I said, this application I am giving 512 MB of memory to be utilized on the very fast choice. What it will do, it will choose one space from here. It will choose one space from here and push the application into this. Now, one always think, you are deploying the application to cloud. Cloud means where it should be some storage, right? You can't push it and it will be there in the cloud. It is basically some hardware there in the background where you are just pushing the application. But once you push this application, it has chosen this particular, let's say, hardware, and it has pushed your application in this section. Now today, as I said, your application is hit application. Your initially it was using by 10 users. Now it is going to use by 500 users. Now you know very well this 512 MB is not going to happen anything right now. You need to double it. You are just going to change it to 1024 MB. If you do that, what you can do, this Cloud Foundry is basically increasing the memory of your application here. Now, not only that, Cloud Foundry not only helping you to scale your application horizontally as well as vertically, it also gives you an option to find out a routing URL. Let's say you have pushed the application to Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry pushed into this hardware. But ultimately, what you need as a user, you need to use the application. How will you use it? You need a URL or something to use it. Once it is deployed into this core of this hardware, it will ultimately give you a root URL to use the URL or use the application. Okay. Along with, they have giving you some different options. The cell management means if you're going to scale this, you're going to allocate multiple cells, increase the memory to twice to 1024. You can do it. Now you can also like want to see the messaging, the logs. While deployment, it got failed. What you will do? You need to understand, right? Why it is failed. What exactly is going wrong in your application. It also providing those logs. It also providing these messaging features. Now, this entire setup is called as runtime environment. While runtime from deployment to using the application, what exactly is happening? Let's say you are opening the application, it is not showing any data. What you will do? You'll try to find out the log and see what exactly went wrong. So all the features they are entitled to this OS, this software called Cloud Foundry. So now You'll be saying, okay, I am just pushing the application. So SAP is well managing and everything. What else it is giving? As I said previously, it is giving you a security authorization service also. This is your app. This application, who will be using it? Create the user. N number of users, create N number of users account and keep the security access to him. Connections and destinations. You want to use some OData service. Okay. Now, you might have used some services which is built on premise, but you have built a cloud product. But you are saying like, boss, I don't care about your database in cloud, but I want to use on premise data. That might be also your one of the like demand. No, let it be in a cloud product, but I'll be using on premise data in any scenario. I'm saying that also you can do it, because cloud platform also basically having a secure connection between your cloud to on premise using cloud connector. Okay, so SAP also giving that option to use different connections. It might be your on-premise database, or it might be your cloud database. As I said, Postgres or any SQL or any HANA database that you have just going to use it. That options they are also providing to you, and other different services are available. If you would like to use some sort of other applications, other services, like as I said, any push notifications or any chatbot or any other services that you want to use, also you can use top of that. Now the entire things it is possible under the BT. Now, one question will come to your mind, which comes to every users or every developers or every like project manager. Asha, I am building this application. Ultimately, how would be the cost? As I said, I am building a product, and this product to be sold to the other customer, or also I need to also pay as as a company. Now, how the cost will be calculated? Now, what SAP will do, once you are choosing the memory, like 1024 memory 1024 MB memory you're allocating for the application. Now, once you deploy the application to the Cloud Foundry, as I said, runtime environment, Cloud Foundry it's having its own CF runtime cost. CF runtime is one of the cost which is come around of 86 USD per 1 GB. You know, per 1 GB it cost near about 86 USD. Now, this CF runtime whenever you have given 1024 MB, let's say it's near about 1 GB. So you'd be monthly you'll be charging $86. Number one, first cost. If you have enabled Business Application Studio, if you have enabled it, there are some user-based charges there. Plus Business Application Studio, one user cost. Plus you have deployed the application, and after that, if you're using some of the services from here, this area, then that additional service cost will come. Now, if you don't have any licensing to the SAP BTP, then first time usage, those other services like connectivity service, security authentication service, some additional cost will be there. Now, let's say if you are building this application, having one cloud foundry, sorry, a cloud CPA agreement with your company, which is basically cost as per you use that agreement. If you with having with your company with the SAP, then you can already use all those things. So now while selling to this product, you can charge all these things plus your extra I mean like margin, profit margin, plus your maintenance plus support. All this charge will be all together, and you can able to sell the product to the other customers. Getting my point? Is it making any sense to understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So this is how SAP generally giving options you to develop your applications and manage it. So this is basically all about. I wanted to discuss on the cloud computing service models or of cloud computing, different the service model like the PaaS, SaaS, and IaaS is available. Then we talked about the SAP BTP, one use case, and a bit overview on the SAP BTP. Now coming back to the BTP, what you will do and what are the options SAP BTP is providing you on the accounting models. Like as I am a new person to the SAP BTP, what are the things I supposed to know most importantly? So first thing you understand this. Now once you go to SAP BTP, the first and foremost thing will come is now I'll just give you an example, like how basically SAP BTP accounts are completely managed. See, first understand this. As I said, SAP is having two type of account. One is a trial account. Another one is called tire account. Now, both are free. This is one category. Another category for your licensing one. Like if you have CPEA licensing or any other licensing with the SAP, they'll also create some sort of accounts here. This is a paid version, and this is a free version. Now understand one thing. What is the difference between trial and tire account? Most of the people always confuse with these two things. Now, SAP free trial account is nothing but, let's say, SAP, let's say this is the user, Rahul. He wants to create an account on SAP BTP. Okay. What he has done, he has just open SAP BTP login. Now he's getting two options to registered and login. First time I'll choose to register. While registering it, if I just give all my informations properly, my name, my mobile number, my email ID, and it will be entitled me to a trial account. It will create one user ID, a P series user ID with my email, my name, and it will be opening to a trial account. In the trial account, I should be having an account, like I should be having basically a global account. Then inside the global account, I should be having one sub account. Then I should be using different services. Okay. And which is basically a public. Like everything is available. All the setups are already done. Global account is already available. Our trial account already created. Okay. And all the services, whatever it is there, all the services are available. You need to just enable what service more you need it. By default, some of the services will be also activated for you. Now, when it comes to the tire, it is more sort of private cloud, where you are going to they have given you one global account for your name for your company. Now you are going to choose how many sub accounts you are going to use it. It's not like that you will be having only one sub account here. You can also have multiple sub accounts created. But in this, the ownership is completely given to you. You can find out different use cases, different directory, and based on the directory, you can choose different sub accounts. As an example, let's say this is my HR functions, this is my finance, this is my sales and distributions. For this one sub account, for these three sub accounts, development quality production, this directory finance, development quality production. This also two different sub accounts. Okay. Now coming to the point here, what is global account, directory, sub account? That confusion need to be clear very very properly. Like why? Because this is going to make most of your doubts. See this. Whenever you are going to create any account, either a free trial or free tier account, you would be giving one global account entitled to you. This should be a global account for the user. And they'll be giving basically like there are so many entitlements are available. Entitlements are nothing but so many services can be used. Like let's say if you are going for a cloud foundry, you can enable cloud foundry runtime. You can use cloud identity service. Some of the services, we'll talk about services later. Remember, on the global account, after that you are choosing it, what you are going to do it. You are going to develop some application, so you need to understand that you are going to do some DevOps. You are going to do some integration. You are going to do some let's say data management. So all these things you can entitle to your global account, that I can do DevOps, I can do integrations, I can do data management, I can do machine learning. Okay, so all those things you can entitle to your global account. Now after that, you are choosing it. As I was saying, no, I can choose my directory. This directory, let's say, belongs to my sales and distributions. This directory belongs to my HR. This directory belongs to, let's say, my cloud integration, the third one, or any other directory if I have. So always remember, global account is basically the main account is assigned by SAP to you. Sub accounts are always chosen based on the process that you're going to do for any specific scenarios. Let's say, as I said, sales and distributions or my DevOps. DevOps might be one of my sub account. Let's say this is my sub account. Okay. DevOps means what? I'm developing some applications. And once I develop the application, I should be having some testing environment as a quality. And I should be having some sort of account to deploy into the production sub account. So my scenario is DevOps. Under the DevOps, I can build n number of applications. And I can deploy into my Cloud Foundry stack. It will consume different runtime memories. As I said in the last slide, once you push the application to the Cloud Foundry, what it will do? It will create a container. Inside the container, how much memory you have allocated per application, it will consume that. That means you can deploy n number of applications to your cloud platform. I specifically say inside the cloud platform, you can specifically say, I need to deploy into this specific sub account. Why? Because see, you are an user. You are doing multiple projects. Understand that. This is one project for US client. This is one project for, let's say, Brazil client. Now we are having different client for it is India client. Now you know very well, like I am having completely different requirement for all these three countries, and I need to make a balance properly. What you will do? Always best idea to create one sub account, one here for US, sub account 2 for this, sub account 3 for this. Now let's say you have built one application, two application, three application, 1, 2, 3. This three application for this three sub account. What you can do while deploying it, you can give it. I want to deploy under this. I want to deploy this application under this. I want to deploy this under this. Okay. So these options you'll anyway you'll be getting it while deploying the application. Which sub account to choose? Once you choose a sub account, the application will be deployed there. Now, this application you have given, let's say 512 MB. This application is 1224 MB. So the 512 MB. Now, once you deploy, the runtime cost would be 1 GB cost here. This also 1 GB cost. This also 1 GB cost. Now, why these segregations are important? Why I said give an example US, Brazil, India separate. Why? Because tomorrow you need to also send a billing invoice to other clients, right? If you mix up everything into a single one, 1 GB, let's say 512 MB here and this application you had to increase to 750. Then 512 plus 750 is more than 1 GB, so it will be charging one more extra GB cost. Now who will bear the amount? Either you're US or Brazil. You don't know, right? That's why always a wiser decision while building any project, actual client project, to segregate your sub accounts properly. Because the billing you can understand from the SAP, all sub account wise billing also they will be giving it to you. Inside the sub account, what are the services have you used, that billing also comes to you. Now, while giving the bills to your client, you also know properly that which sub account has the maximum cost, which sub account, what is the usage. If you mix up multiple projects into a single sub account, at the time segregating the billing might be more difficult for you to give it to the client. Remember this point. So again, coming back, like always remember, the always structure starts from here. This should be your global account. Global account might be having multiple sub accounts. So under the sub account, what you can do, there is a concept called space. There should be multiple space under one sub account. Space 1, space 2, space 3. It can be a number of space you can do it. What does the space doing? The concept of space is, let's say I know this is my global account. I have deployed the account application to this sub account. Now in space also, you can manage multiple things. Like you can give a dev space, you can create a quality space, you can create a production space. Now, what is the concept of a space? Let's say some customers say in development system, I don't need this push notification feature, but in quality and production, I need this too. It's not required, but this is required quality and production. Now, as an example, if push notification is one of the service, then this service you should not enable into the dev space. You can entitle to this quality space and production space. So based on that, what it will happen, based on that, like you can also get to know that this sub account, this space, I got the billing up to this. So basically, this space 1 plus space 2 plus space 3 billing is equals to the sub account 1 billing. So always you can segregate those things. How much you have spent for your development, how much you are spending for maintaining into the quality and production system. Based on that, also you can find out your billing. It is always wiser decision to segregate your accounts. Global account would be the given account by SAP. Sub account you can create multiple. Space you can also create multiple. Now I'll show you to make your understanding much clear. I'll open to coming back to the one more thing. When I talk about this free tire account and free trial account, this trial account can be created very easily without any problem. You can register yourself, you can get your account created. But free tire account, you need to give your credit card. You need to pay your credit card details. How and where? That one document we have already having it. We'll share it to you. If you would like to create with giving your credit card, but it will not charge any amount to you. It will be just charge 1 rupee, and that 1 rupee also given back to you. Okay, but there is some steps to be followed for that. Okay, you need to give your credit card and some other details. But in this course, it is not required to have a tire account. Trial account is also okay for you. We'll give you both the documents. You go and just enable trial or tire account. I'll show both the things, and if you interested to use it, you can use it. But it is not like that. If you have a not having a tire account, you won't be able to do anything, any exercises here. But the point of view is, free tire account means it would be your own public one where you can able to manage, take your own decisions. Nothing would be enabled. It will be fresh given to you. Some of the services which is free to use, you can use it. Some of the services which is not free to use, if you use it, you need to pay. Now you'll be asking me a question. Then what is the difference between trial and tire? If both of the things are common only? No, it is not. Everything is common. There are some services are only given access to the free tire, not free trial. As free trial is basically a very basic model, SAP has not given all the the creamy services whatever they have came up with. As an example, SAP build process automation for AppGyver. There are some more work zone. Those some few more other services which is available. A few more also data intelligence. Then you have this previously had the name of IRPA. Those things they have now removed it from the trial. You won't be able to use it, but it is there in the free tire account. So if somebody wanted to use some sort of other free services, it is wiser decision to go for a free tire account, but make sure you have to give your credit card. Okay. Until unless not giving it, you won't be able to get the access of it. But you need to be a bit careful if you are choosing some of the services which is not free, like accessible to the free tire, you would be charged that from your credit card. So you need to be a bit careful about it, and you can create your account. But both the documents I'll be sharing with all of you, and just go and just create the account.
Is the trial
Now
account having any duration limitation, like 3 months, 6 months, like that? Or
it would be having it, but you can again like extend your account. It won't be having any problem.
oh,
Now I have just opened up one account which is basically a free tire account. Now, once you create a free tire account, you would automatically given a trial account. Okay. Once you create one free tire account, you would be automatically given one trial account. It's your choice. You would like to go to this, or you would like to go to your actual global account given for your free tire. Now I will show you the first one, this free tire account. Then I will just take a tour of the free trial account. Now once you created this is the global account page where you can see this is the name of the user and the user ID, basically random P series ID would be allocated to the user. Now what it is giving it here, you can access your global accounts here. You can access your free trial account from here. You can purchase BTP from SAP store. Like if you'd like to use BTP as your licensing partner of your company, you can also go and choose BTP from there, from the SAP store. And it is happen giving some other community and official documentation link for SAP. Now, the next thing in the left hand side, if you have seen, has given the regions. The regions are available for a free trial for different SAP accounts. See this multi environment. Multi environment means it's a cloud foundry based. Okay, it is having Australia, Sydney. They're having different technical code. See that I was talking about multi environment means what? What we have learned, the cloud providers are different. AWS, Azure. See this? This is the new environment. Okay. Here, all the infrastructure base SAP. Now your doubts are clear. I was talking about it's only one provider. It's a multi-provider. You can choose Azure. Some of the services what Azure provides, you can use it. If you have chosen AWS capabilities, you can use it. But here, whatever SAP is going to take it decision, that you need to always follow that. There is no other going new, which creates more rigid boundary for the users to use it or run my business. What is the disadvantage of new environment? But where Cloud Foundry is more flexible in terms of usage and manage your application. Now go to the global accounts. I'll click on the global account link. Once I click on the global account link, I'd be entitled to the page where I am able to see my global account details. It is just giving me, as it is a free tire account, it is just showing me, see all the free service plans are available. Once you click on that, you'll be able to see the list of services SAP provides and specifically what are the free service plans are available. It is given you all different sort of options and given a link to SAP Discovery Center. What is SAP Discovery Center is? It is basically a place where SAP manage all their service details into this page. If somebody wants to come and see the list of services available in SAP, you can come to the SAP Discovery Center, and there you can go and choose what is the service, what is the price of the service, detail about the service. Like as an example, if I go to this cloud, is one of the service, Cloud Foundry runtime. See this? The Cloud Foundry runtime is available in a free tier. Cloud transport management available in free tier. If I go inside this, what I get to know about the pricing, about the related missions, the roadmap, the customer stories about this service. So, what are the services SAP provides? As an example, this one is a service, Cloud Foundry runtime. Similarly, we have SAP Business Application Studio as a service, SAP CPI as a service, SAP Build Process Automation as a service, SAP Mobile Services as a service, SAP Workflow as a service. You can go always and choose that service and find out the feature overview here. Then the pricing here, see, the standard version is basically, it cost around of 1 GB of block is 70 euro. You can always go and change the calculator to USD or any other currency you'd like to see. You can just choose that. Once you choose that, you can just come here. You can see it's near about 73 USD per 1 GB of block. Minimum block size is a GB, 1 GB. So as I was saying, if you choose this one to develop the application, so 1024 MB near about 1 GB. So for that, not only 86 USD, it is 73 USD would be charged. Okay. Now coming back, it's also having like some other metrics. It is given of like this. Okay, I think this is not the one. This is what for what. Okay, it is given for the following region. This is the charge, and this following region for only for this Europe and Frankfurt. This one, the charge is more. Actually, it is 84 USD. And if it is a free trial, it is under this one. You can given a 4 GB of memory as a free. Means if you have go and create a free tier account, in that you need not to pay any extra amount up to 4 GB of memory. 4 GB of memory means you can deploy applications, multiple applications, but the overall summation of all the memory should not cross this 4 GB of memory size. If it is crossed 1 MB also, it will charge money from your credit card. Make sense? So this is how the service plans. You can also find out the
How come
roadmaps.
we know? Sorry to interrupt. How come we know if we are
Yeah,
exceeding that 4 GB?
Yeah. I'll come. I know this question will definitely come. Now I'll show you. Now coming to this is my global account. Under the global account, what I was saying, you would be given to create multiple sub accounts based on your applications or based on your processes. I have created SAP DevOps. Now you can also create multiple sub accounts. While creating a new sub account, you need to always choose a specific region wisely. Now you'll be asking me a question: why are you always forcing this word region wisely? Because remember one thing: some of the services, all the services are not available for all origins or regions. There are some services, as an example, let's say SAP Cloud Identity Service, it is not accessible for all regions. So that list also in the Discovery Center, you can get it. This service available in which region. So always a wiser decision to choose a region which is US East. This region almost having all services. So remember one thing, while creating the sub account, you need to just give the name of the sub account and choose the region here. Region would be a drop down, And definitely, while creating the sub account, it is also showing you which service provider, the AWS, it's a Google, it's a Microsoft Azure, it's an SAP. So whatever you would like to choose it, you will go. But recommendation would be AWS US East E. Okay. Once you create that, give the name of the sub account. Once you give the name of the sub account, then your sub account would be created like this. Once you click on the sub account, what I said on as per our document, we'll be creating a sub account, then global account, then sub account. Under the sub account, we'll be having a different space. I said. Now let's see that also. Now I have opened up the sub account. Now this sub account would be having so many other options in the left hand side. We'll come all these things tomorrow's class in very detail. Now remember one thing. This is the sub account detail. Now one sub account always should be having one specific unique ID. This is your sub account ID. And this ID is very, very important. Wherever you are going to do some sort of setup, as an example, you want to connect this sub account with your on-premise system to consume some OData service, which is there in your on-premise system. This sub account ID is required to connect Cloud Connector. So similarly, remember one thing, this sub account is very, very important. And this is the tenant ID. The tenant ID has been assigned to my global account. This tenant ID is a unique ID for my entire global account. And this tenant ID would be always same for any sub account I create. The sub account ID always would be deferred. The tenant ID would be always same. One more important thing is, once you create the sub account for the very first time, your Cloud Foundry environment was not enabled. It was not enabled for free tier account. As I said, free tier account means every small step you need to activate because it's your own space. You are the owner of that space. Free trial account, it will be automatically enabled. I'll show you that. I have enabled this. So initially it will be having one small button like this, enable Cloud Foundry. Once you click on that, it will enable the Cloud Foundry environment. So what does it mean? Means you have the sub account, but it is your choice that sub account you want to manage with the Cloud Foundry software or not. If you choose like, yeah, my intention is to develop application and deploy application, then definitely Cloud Foundry software is needed. Once you need it, click on this. Once you clicked on it, it will automatically create this endpoint. Now this endpoint is very important to know. This endpoint, see this https.api.cf is basically common for everyone. Then US 10 is basically the region that you have selected. You have selected US East. That's what US 10 is the code. 001 is the minimum, that stack version, and the hanaondemand.com. This will be always same for most of you have created with the same sub account details. But the only thing is changed is the tenant ID and the sub account name and the ID. That would be vary based on person to person, whatever you are creating. Okay. Now, once you activated your Cloud Foundry environment, you would be also required to create a space. Initially, space also would not be created for you, but in trial account, it would be created by default. You will be having a button here to create a new space. Once you create a new space, you can give any name, ABCD, whatever name you can give it, and you can create multiple spaces also. And while creating the space, you can give basically one space role to the user. Let's say here I am the admin and I am creating it. I am making myself as space manager, space developer, whatever the role you want to give it. But tomorrow, if somebody comes, let's say under me, XYZ one person has came, he also need to be joined to my team. See, I can add a person in the organizational member. I'll show you tomorrow. Like there also you can restrict the user access by giving the role to the user. Okay. Now this is my development. Now the next thing is you have just created the space. Now this space and everything can be find out inside this. you would go to the spaces. Once you go to the spaces, what you can see here is the list of space that you have. Those spaces will be come out here. Here you can see the space is completely empty. I didn't deploy any application. And the space size is given as 50 GB. Okay, like this particular space of this sub account, I can manage to deal with up to 50 GB of data. That means the if you see our documents, that means the stack they have given to us for the space is up to 50 GB, not more than that. If you need more than that, you have to create one more space, which will allocate you a different stack in your memory. Okay. Now inside this, you can go and like put your application. But if you think that like I need to just modify the name, I can just create multiple spaces. You can always create multiple spaces here. And in this space, you can also assign the person name, whatever the required access is going to be provided. This is how the space is basically managed. Now coming back to the point, I will just open one more account. See this, SAP BTP cockpit login. You should go to this account here. Once you go here, then there is an option to sign in. And if you are not signed in previously, you need to come down to register yourself. This was the first step you're supposed to follow to create any trial account. In this, you need to give your first name, last name. You can give your company details, or you can give some dummy data about your company, but make sure your phone number is given properly. Let's say if you're not using your cloud platform for a longer time, it will send you, or you are registering, or you're logging in for a new devices, it may send you a phone number SMS verification. So don't give a blank phone number. It is required for you. Once you given, then it will send you one email to your email ID for activating the account. Once you have activated the account, then you're able to go and log into that. Once you come to the login, you can always give your user ID password here. Let me try logging in out. So I have just logged in. This is one more account we have this device. So if you go inside the trial account in this, and now see this. Once you click on BTP trial account, it automatically just asking you to go inside the trial account. You know, once you click on the trial account, what it will do? It is just given new BTP trial account period. As of the mid-February, the overall trial period is for 90 days. So my account was disabled, and I have extended the priority, like the duration again. If it is disabled, you'll be getting a message like it is disabled, extend again. So once you again extend, then after 30 days, it will be again need to extend it. Okay, remember that. Now see,
So every 30
yeah,
days we need to extend till like 90 days, correct?
it is not. First activation 90 days, it would be enabled for you. After 90
Okay.
days, it will be disabled. If you
Okay.
extend it one time, again every 30 days, again you need to extend it. And remember one thing, if you like just put a reminder, like you just need to click one button, it will automatically verify and extend it. Nothing else will happen.
Okay,
Nothing
so
to worry about
initial,
that. Yeah.
okay, initial one is 90 days and then it will extend 30 more days
30
again
30
extra
days.
for every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, every time. Yeah.
Okay. So is there this is for the trail account or a tire account?
Trial account, not tire account. Tire account, it will be available for you.
Okay, at any time. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So now if you
And
see
this
it, yeah,
and the space that you have showed it here for this creating the I mean the space. Okay. So that is the considered as the total GB that what you are discussing before?
it is about that for that specific space. You can manage up to 50 GB. You can again create one more space, 50 GB, 50 GB like that. It's not like
Okay.
only 50 GB will be allocated. I'll show you that. See this.
Okay.
So now this is basically our trial account. This trial account is automatically created once you go to this free trial account. Now if you go inside this, what you can see here is in this, I might have deployed some of the application privately or somebody has already used this. Like, so see this. It again, it is enabled and having some applications as well. So see, I was talking about different environment. So Cloud Foundry is one of the software. Kaima is also one of the software. Like now the difference between these two will take one session just to define Neo versus Cloud Foundry versus Kaima. Then you'll get to. But remember, these two are also different softwares to manage your cloud platform. But here Cloud Foundry will focus more. Now see this. Inside the Cloud Foundry, now I will go to the spaces. How to go? Left hand side also you can go it. Cloud Foundry space. So once you go to the space, you would like to see the by default one space would be created in your trial named as dev space. Okay. Now you can see here it is only 4 GB of memory. In the trial you'll be getting. Okay. Now if you create one more space, let's say I'm creating one more. Say I got one more 4 GB of space. Getting my point. So here the thing is like I can create multiple spaces, but I can only manage it one space up to 4 GB in trial. Entire account, I would be having 50 GB, which is quite more. Now coming to the other factor of it, let's say inside this, what I do, I go to this instance and subscriptions and marketplace. What are these two things? In the services, as I said, a Cloud Foundry is basically the software. Apart from that, SAP BTP also selling so many services. So these are the services are available. See, mobile service, business application studio service, build process automation service, SAP intelligent robot processing automation service, workflow service, workflow management service. So these are the services. These services you can activate in your trial account or free tier account based on your usage, based on your requirement. Now, once you activate those, I mean, like submit these services, that services would be like coming under this instance and subscriptions. Like this is showing it my subscription. What are the services I have already activated? Now, this service, these two services I have already activated in this SAP Business Application Studio, SAP Build Process Automation. How do you activate this? You need to go to the services and you can choose any specific service. Let's say I want to go to business applications too. So I have already created it. If you don't even create, you should be having a create button. Once you click on the create, it will automatically create the instance for you in a free trial account. And then you need to assign some roles. I'll show you that. You see, once you create the instance, then there is an option called security. The security, it is always gives you the different roles assigned to the users. Go to the users. I think in this is the default user. Click on the user, calm down. You can add multiple role collections. See this assign role collection. In this role collections, you can add multiple. Nothing is required to give it now because already is given. Initially, for once you will be doing it for the business application studio, all the roles will be showing it here. You need to check all the check boxes and click on assign role collection. The document is already shared to all of you. In that might be these steps are already there. How can you just go and assign the role collection? Just assign the roles for the business application studio and then save it. That's it. As you can see here, I have already given these roles to the user. That's why it is showing it here. If I delete any of the roles from here, then if I again go to assign role collection, that would be all again, it will come appear automatically. You need to choose it and assign it. That's it. Now, coming back to the questions like quota plans and everything. How can you like make your things properly? Now, see, as of now, my DAB and quality both are not used at all. It is enough resources are available. If you're going to plan for something, like say you are basically creating a project for one company, and they are saying that was I can bear up to that much money. So you are going to create a quota plan for them. You are saying like, see, so as per their billing, you understood like 4 GB of memory would be enough for them. Now you can give it 4096, or if you think no, 1 GB is enough for them, you can give it 1024 like this also. So you can create for their plan, for their project, one specific quota. Like let's say I'm giving US project, and you can assign some MB and allocate. That means what if this space is going to exhaust, 1024 is almost going to full, they will send a message to you, your quota almost full, change the quota. Change the quota means you need to again resize this one. I was talking about the scaling, right? Here the vertical scaling is going to happen. You need to increase the memory. You need to change it for 10242, whatever the memory you would like to give it. Here in trial account, it is having a boundary up to 4 GB, but your actual account, you can give any memory, whatever you need. Now, coming back to the application point of view, I think in this also, nobody has deployed any application. No applications are deployed. No, otherwise you can get to know like if somebody has deployed some applications, no, then we would have shown you how to extend the memory. So I'll just give you roughly one thing. One sec, let me just see any photographs are available for that. No, it is not. So it is just like, see this. It is just like once you go inside the space. Let me see any other one. We also don't have any other. So once you go, see, once you deploy any application here, so right now there is no applications are deployed. One stopped application. Okay, let me see what is a stopped application. If something is there, see this. So I'm starting this application. I think there is some problem in starting it. Now see this. Let's assume it. Somebody has deployed some application to the Cloud Foundry environment. Now the application is deployed here, and it is given 256 as an MB to manage. That's the memory. Now you have given the application to what? To let's say to your testing team, and you have rolled out to the business. A business find it very interesting, and they are saying no, this application is going to be used for so many users. Let's scale this. Now see this, change instance details. Once you click on this, you can modify the memory. What memory MB you need it? The vertical scaling, you can do it now. See, it got changed. But for the space quota, maximum you can keep this. Because you understood, right? The DAB space only having 4096 MB. So this is how you can go and always increase your thing. And always you can go and have a look of this. If the application is stopped right now due to some error, once you start the application, you can get to know the logs, The logs might be not there. Some logs are there. Some of the scaling just now we have done, no? That's what it is showing. The scaling has been done. You can see the scaling details. Okay. Then it is also showing you the application like related, if like how the application is like see the most events, whatever is this trigger, it is showing the instances. It will show how much CPU memory it is taken, how much memory it
One
is
question
using.
from my
Yeah.
side, sorry to interrupt. Like, how, once we develop the application, how come we know how much memory it requires for the smoother execution? Do we have anything like that? Like, it is a random allocation only.
It is a random allocation only initially. Now always you need to refer it. See it you can't say like any sort of charts are available like thousands users means this is required. It is not having anything. It's a random
Okay.
allocations only, but it it depends. I'll tell you how it depends is, let's say you are having application is a very bulky application. It is having so many features and facilities. There are so many service calls are there, so many things are there, but it not always necessary that all users are using at a time. Also, it is not necessary that application is going to like all the users are using all the functionalities. So automatically the service loads or the application load always increases if the number of users are trying at a single point of time. Like as an example, IRCTC app, you don't know how many users are using simultaneously the application. So load would be huge. Now, always what we prefer, once you build the application technically, we always do a calculation like how many users are going to do it. Let's say we're assuming in the first rollout, near about 750 users are going to use this application. Okay. And like this application is kind of a business approaching application. We might need require some 250 users would be doing randomly once at a time. We are assuming it again. So you usually just align some sort of 1 GB space for that. Then you always go and check the instance memory. Our CPU is getting full or not, how much memory it is using it, what is our disk quota. If we think like this 1 GB also not making any sense, because what it will do, no, if your application start performing very poorly, it is sometimes it is breaking it. Services are not giving proper responses, it keep on loading. Then you just got some sort of indications that something is going wrong in the managing the memory. You need to scale it. Then you can quickly come here and see the CPU percentage load. If you feel like the CPU percentage is more than 60%, 70%, that means it is using very rapidly and you need to increase it. Sometimes will be seeing like 256 MB only you have given, but 0.1% is the memory usage. So that means people are using it, but not very heavily. There, somebody is using now or up, not there are no simultaneous users to use it, something like that. It always comes here, and based on the usage of this, you can always change the instance. Okay.
And it is always the runtime memory, like the
Yeah.
memory, RAM memory or something, it will be consumed at the time of usage. It is not the storage memory, right?
It is not the storage memory. Yes. Okay. Because now the instance memory is always like with the runtime memory, and that memory only it is going to be charged for you. So SAP, they have in the service desk, they have given basically in the discovery center the runtime memory that will be something to be charged. Okay. So this is basically about your Cloud Foundry runtime. So there are a few more interesting features to it. Like I'll show you in the next class where how can you maintain multiple organizations? How can you build up a team? Inside the team, how can you give in different access? Let's say you are a sub account owner, and now you are going to give me as a developer access. How can you keep that? Now let's say there are so many services are available, and you are the administrator, you're the head of the sub account. Okay. And you're having so many members are under your team, but some of the members, everybody, if you give the access, or somebody will activate something you don't even know, then it will be a huge billing issue. That generally happens in every company when they are dealing with this SAP cloud, like SAP BTP. You have given everybody is access, everybody is deploying everything everywhere. It will be really creating a very huge impact. So how to manage those things? how to create a specific role collections. Like in the role collections, you can define it like this many users having this developer role. They can deploy it. Okay. Those things also, how can you manage it? Then it will also come about your security, your cloud connector. Like I was talking about, how can you connect your on-premise system to your cloud system? How can you do that? That setup also I'm going to show you here. It is not connected right now. How will you connect with our S4HANA system that we have to this system, this our cloud platform, that I'll show it to you. How to create destinations, to use the destination in the mobile application or web application, that I'll show. Then we're having understanding of different like security, trust, and all those things that will also come. Like here we're having trust configurations. Like people, now if you are going to open up any application, it will come the by default login of SAP BTP. But your company also planning to have some SAML integration. Your company also might have asked for some IAS integration, single sign-on, those kind of things. What are the options to do with that, deal with that? Those things also will to come. Okay. Then you'll also just go and find out some of the interesting facts about SAP BTP, like the other like other services that we have. Like we have a bit like we have chatbots, we have other services. I will just take you through. Will not go in very detail about all the services, just to make sure these are the things that are available. Because as I said, no, this course is something for a project manager also to explore the things. These are the things that are available for me. Now I will try to give you a honest review for the services I have used in my company or in my use cases. How was our experiences? I'll definitely share with you along with those things, and how we have planned it. What are the use cases we have handled? It will give you some sort of scenario to understand that if you are thinking something in your mindset, how can you deal with that? And then we'll jump to the business application studio to build some sort of application. Okay. So that's for today. Now, if you have any question, let's discuss.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned there will be one global account, multiple sub accounts can be created, and the sub accounts can be one dev sub account, one quality and protection. So when it comes to the commercial part of it, the production sub account cost will be always higher than what is for the development. So how that is, SAP BTP distinguished whether this a dev sub account or it's a prod sub account?
It's not. They have not given. They are smartly handled this one. They have given to you. I'll tell you. As I said, no. I'll share my experiences also. The same problem we have also faced. Initially, we went for one sub account and tried to manage with different spaces, dev, quality, and production. But as you exactly said, no, development will be doing so many things. Production also, the usage would be more. Development usage would not be more. But now always comes to the confusion like how we can build it. We are always having a problem like to distinguish the usage point of view in the different your space wise. And what we have concluded and came up with an approach, we have created one sub account specifically for production.
Correct.
Whatever the services are required to enable, because see the point is no one sub account. If you distinguish between dev, quality, production sub account might have not used all your services, but it is activated in your sub account level right now. The space is in the space, it is not enabled, but it is used in the sub account level. But ultimately the charge will come. So that's what it will create so many hectic issues, and when people are having so many issues also. And ultimately have finalized, let's do with one approach. For this application rollout, I am assigning this project, this sub account as a production sub account for this project. Whatever the trust, whatever the user access, whatever it is required, will be assigning to that particular project to all the users to the sub account. What are the services are involved? As an example, let's say we are having business application studio is not required in production because it is required in development system.
Correct.
But it is required some workflow might be, it is required some other services. So we have enabled it. Every setup we have done. Let's say mobile services are required for a mobile application. We have enabled it and given all the configuration. Now, whatever the billing, it is transparent to the business also and us also. So the billing, these are the usage. Any sort of problem, we'll ask to SAP to justify.
So it will not be the same billing, right?
It won't be the same billing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
in
so
the
my
group,
question,
yeah,
yeah, my question is that, I mean, let's say there are two sub account, one is in dev and one is for production. So how SAP identify this is a dev sub account or this is for a production sub account? You mean to say this will be identified based on the usage by SAP automatically? Is it
no,
how
no,
it works?
no, no. SAP doesn't care about with whatever your dev, what is your production.
Uh-huh.
They only deal with what is the usage you have done it in every sub account level and what is the billing it came. Now it is your headache to like like what is your dev and what is your production. Now you
Mhm.
know very well the production one is basically I need to give a invoice to my customer to get the bill. So
Understand. Okay. So
for
you will be
SAP,
getting
yeah.
it, you will be
Hmm.
getting different billing for each sub account.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay, 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 got it.
So we will develop the applications in the BAS and then deploy it in the BTP,
That's correct.
correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
So
And
again, come, yeah, yeah. Good.
sorry, go ahead.
So as your question was, no, like UI5 and Node, what is the plan here is we'll try to show you some application which will be developed in a multi-targeted way. I'll tell you one thing. Let's say normally UI5 develop, if we have some UI5 developer here, they can correlate much easier who are not from the technical background. I'll tell you, you guys might have heard about something called Fury UI5 based application. Now, what basically UI5 Fury application generally will deal with? This application will be developed under the backend layer, will be consume some OData services, and we are going to display the data and offer the data to do the card operation. Basically, that is how generally we have already done. We'll done one scenario for that here. One scenario will tell you one like one different approach. How, let's say, we'll not always use the OData service. We are going to use some of the services which some of the some of the services where it is not pointing to your S4HANA system of your on-premise. We will be creating some database in the BTP. The database name is Postgres, which is also open source. You can use Postgres database in the free trial. Okay, and Postgres also is similar at DB. You can create a table. You can just call like basically the DB to post some data or get some data from there. The similarly card operation also you can do it. But that Postgres, I mean, the DB is there. How will you communicate between the Postgres to your app? Some middleware is there required, no? Like OData service is there for on-premise. It is basically communicating from your application to the S4HANA system. Here Postgres DB is there, but you are having the application also in BTP, which is built in UI5, let's say. But how will you communicate? To communicate, we are going to build one Node.js app. That Node.js app, it will connect between your app to the Postgres DB. Whatever you'll be asking for from your app, it will take the query to the Postgres DB and get the detail.
Okay.
Why I'm yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So why I'm going to show you this approach is because nowadays these things are getting slightly changing. The example I have given, no, sales application. For small application like this, SAP or your business might not be always take a right decision to go to the on-premise based solution. Or some of the application, whatever you'll be developing as a BTP product base, in that case, you would be having a mindset, I would be using most of the BTP services. So when I'll be selling this as a product, everything would be under cover the BTP umbrella, all my cost and everything. So this kind of scenario, you may going to be handled in the later point in time, being a UI5 developer also. For that, this Node.js layering is very much important to know. Now you go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, that is my, I mean, like a basic question. Is SAP BTP consultant do really care about the Node.js applications, like to develop within the Node.js?
It does. Nowadays they started. Why as I said, because we are not
See, as you
yeah,
said, the database, what is the database is like some other thing, some X database, not as an
yeah,
S/4HANA database. So
right,
if that might be any third party database, okay,
correct,
as you said, like it's not our
yeah,
SAP database to be safe. So
yes.
as an SAP BTP consultants, okay, so do we, I mean, like what exactly is our role like? I mean, I know we have like ocean of the things in the Cloud Foundry, but I mean, like basic things I want to learn, so that's the reason I'm asking.
Okay. So now as a BTP developer, as you said, as a BTP developer, that means let's say what are the things you should learn is number one, you should be expertise on the normal, let's say if you're talking about the technical point of view, only specific developer point of view, let's say I'm assuming that you know the basics of UI5. Okay. Now the next thing what we generally ask our BTP developers to understand by the time might be you have already gone through Web ID and develop applications. So Business Application Studio might be a bit newer to you to understand all the features of Business Application Studio, where you can develop the application in Business Application Studio, not only a basic Fury, also a multi-target based application which is specifically deployed for Cloud Foundry. Because you need to understand now when it comes to a BTP, Neo and Cloud Foundry both are completely different ocean. And this Cloud Foundry based application, if you trying to develop, you need to choose a Cloud Foundry based multi-target application, which is a new approach for all the BTP developers to know. Because right now, what generally we have done, we have went to the web ID, you have created an application and deployed. We don't care about where it is properly deployed or managed. But here, it is slightly bit changed. It is not everything changed, a slightly bit changed. You need to start with a multi-target based application development, and that has to be deployed properly with a proper app router concept that I'll tell you in the next classes, like a managed app router, standalone app router, how the app router works, and then like the application, basic application development with the backend system of SAP, like S4 HANA or your ECC, whatever you have. That is the primary thing that you must learn as a BTP developer. Along with, you should know the other things about BTP, like I was talking about the overview about BTP, how it runs, along with the security perspective, assigning role collections, how to manage your application. Eventually, those things can be managed by your security team. It's better to learn. Now, how to become an advanced on BTP? When it comes to the advanced of BTP, then you should be using the other features of BTP, where the BTP is having so many other services. Now, once you say, I am going to be a BTP developer, our course, whatever right now we are doing it, there we are developing some application pointing to our, let's say, S4HANA system. I'm saying the next thing, some of the other XYZ post like databases that we have, which is available as a cloud offering. It is not a huge database, but it's a small database, can be used for a small other applications. You should also have a bit understanding about those databases, like a Postgres, how to create a normal query in Postgres, and how to like use the database to post data. That should be one. Number two, in this course, we're going to talk about only develop and deploy application. But apart from that, in BTP, there are a few more other services that are available in terms of development, where you can build some low code, no code, like your application development using SAP build up process automation. So those things also you can explore. I'm not saying this is going to be happened in this course, but as you ask me what you should learn, those things also you should know as a developer. Like now you are coding it in Business Application Studio, but there's an approach called low code, no code. So you can also see in Zapier, this course is already has been rolled out last, I think, 1 month back. So low code,
In
no
the
code in
YouTube.
SAP build process automation. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can also have a flavor in how basically without writing code, you can build an application with drag and drop. It will be quite interesting to see also. So it's completely up to you to grab those knowledges. Now, again, if you go into deeper, as you said, it's a very huge topic, BTP. You can also have a look on bit on this process automation side, a bit on SSC, like SAP Analytical Cloud. If you're having interest on the analytics a bit, then. But your first and foremost like criteria should be you should know how to use Business Application Studio, develop an application using the backend system of S4 HANA. First, that's the first thing. Then your advanced things are coming. But I'm making it sure like in the after the completion of this course, you'll get to know definitely how to connect your backend services of S4 HANA along with how to use this internal the small DB called Postgres database, and you can able to build the application by your own. That I can promise to you.
Okay. Can you also show one of the SAP application? I mean, multi-target applications you are covering in this, like a Postgres or another database. But can you show one of the applications that's been from the SAP S/4HANA, either OData or any other
Yeah,
CDS that can be
we'll be
that
doing
is
it.
also covering as part of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
course?
yeah, definitely.
No, Fieri, I know. I mean, like, so through the Fieri, you mean to say that you are accessing this OData application and try to build include that applications in the BTP?
Yeah. So
Is it the
in
plan?
yeah, that is the plan. Here in this, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Business Application Studio. Once you use the Business Application Studio, we'll be creating a multi-target application. Inside the multi-target application, we'll be choosing the proper Cloud Foundry based approach. Then we'll connect to our S4HANA backend system, which is an on-premise system. We'll call the data services. Whatever you have done it in UI5, similarly, we'll do also a basic scenario we'll develop. Then we'll show you how to deploy from Business Application Studio to Cloud Foundry, how to use that application. There are different two approaches: app router, standalone, and managed app router. If you choose managed app router, how can you configure SAP Query Launchpad on the SAP Cloud Foundry? How you host the application to the Cloud Foundry Query Launchpad? Not only on-premise Query Launchpad, Cloud Foundry Query Launchpad. How will you activate? How will you deploy it? How will you assign roles? That will also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm having issue in setting up the sub account in Cloud Foundry, Cloud Connector.
Okay.
Is that
Oh,
something we'll be working through tomorrow?
Yeah.
One
I'll
message
walk you
before
through, yeah.
this message, not this one message before that.
Okay. Tomorrow, what will I do is, tomorrow I'll start with this only. I will show you how to connect. So I'll just request everyone who have not installed. There's a document is already shared to all of you. Okay. Just open the document if you get a time. At least download this SAP Cloud Connector software. Once you have the software installed in your laptop, then I will take you through the process tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah,
So just make sure.
I did follow up the whole every step by step with the document, but still getting that error. So I'm not sure, but I did send the logs this afternoon.
Okay. Just did you check one thing? In your the cloud trial account that you have, in this trial account is expired or it needs an extension? Just check it one more time.
No, it's a new account that created this morning. So it's,
okay.
Yeah. I've been keep on checking the account at the same time because the cloud account is BTP account is active. It is new. And also logged off, logged in multiple times. Still not able to connect with the cloud connector to the when creating the sub account within the cloud connector. That's where getting that error. It may be some host file has to be maintained. When I look at the logs, it says host file not maintained for this client ID.
Let me check it. Let me check it also from my side one more time. And tomorrow I'll definitely try to help you to set up this for sure.
Sure.
Let me also check it one more time, my account, if anything is broken or not. But I'll definitely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, one question is you said we can create a DB locally, apart from SAP DB, and we can communicate it, right? So how the data feed, if we do a local DB apart from SAP DB, how the data feed will come from there?
See, it is not a local DB. It is basically a DB provided by SAP. See this one.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, a local DB in the sense like a DB in the BTP. If it is not an on-premises S4HANA DB or a cloud S4HANA DB. So what I mean to say is a new DB we create in BTP. How the data feed is that will come from the backend SAP tables, or it will be a standalone thing we use it.
It will be a standalone one where it's basically assume it. There is no link between this one to your SAP DB, whatever it is having. It's
an ideal case scenario where we use it in real time, like any example.
I'll tell you. It is having a bit. So as an example, when real time in the sense, I'll tell you one thing. See, some of the customers don't go with this Postgres. There are two scenarios of choosing this. I'll tell you first. Who are not going to choose this Postgres SQL DB, which is running on the BTP. So they will see they don't because they know very well I am managing everything on my SAP backend system, which is my S4HANA system or our SOH system on my on-premise. I'm very happy with that. I'm having all the master data management. Every processor will maintained and managed. So if you're telling somebody that boss, I go for one approach, create one more DB on the cloud and store some of your data. Some of the companies will not agree to do it. They said no, I don't want to, because why to manage multiple databases? The first question. Number two, which scenarios this particular Postgres SQL can be approached? It would be only approached to the scenarios where, let's say, you are not dealing with the core business of SAP. As an example, if you are doing a sales order creation, if you go with this approach of Postgres, none of your customers will happy with it, because they know very well creating of sales order not only one process, it's a huge thing which is interrelated so many other processes. You can't store the data which is not linked up with my SAP back, but you can approach them. Let's say, as an example, we are having a COVID or some sort of, well, recently we had COVID. Some of the customers has came up to us and they asked like, can you build some application where I would take a log of how many of my my employees are coming to this organization and taking their sign-in process, and also you just maintain some sort of database to understand they're having any sort of symptoms or not. Like all these some 14, 15 question of the safety questions, they need to give it. They're having fever or not, they have traveled abroad or not, but they don't want to store this kind of data into their SAP database. They said no, that who will maintain those data, and there is again I need to create a Z table. Those concept I don't need. You use some sort of database top of out of the box and use that. Then we have approached. You can use PostgreSDB, which is like if you need a like a database schema to be downloaded, you can download it for your later maintenance time. But you can use this one as a, because your data is not huge and it is not interrelated also. So some sort of approaches where your DB is not interrelated to the core SAP business, there you can use it for sure. Getting my point? Because Postgres SQL is a database, which is an open source database. It's like a MongoDB, like or SQLDB. So again, coming to the point where some use cases you are touching upon where it is not involved the core SAP business, but there are so many use cases are there which might not be a core business process, but it is required to have a deal with a third-party database like this to run your businesses on this one. It might be any of your company's internal award recognition show that does not require any master data and bid all those things. Sometimes you would be managing some, let's say, your project one application you're building it for project. Now, project issue tracker you're maintaining it. That does not require any SAP's help, but you can still use it.
Okay, like
That is also, yeah.
in Neo also we have a similar feature, right?
Yeah,
For example,
you have.
yeah, in Neo also we have. Why? Because while app is still under approval, so until it is approved, we won't post the data into the what you call backend. So we can hold the data in the workflow context and Neo as well, right?
Yeah, you also have. Yeah, it will be also happy.
Yeah, hi Karthik.
So are we working on any workflow also in this?
Workflow is not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, hi
Hi
Karthik.
Karthik,
Hi.
Yeah, Karthik, I have questions regarding because currently the business, more business have the ECC system, okay, and as for HANA is going on, and but nowadays in BTP coming, there's some the business have already the ECC system, okay, and some data is available on ECC. Uh, some in is in cloud, some data are there, okay. But when we develop the application, here is scenario is coming. There's some data service from on-premise and some service from the cloud. Okay, this kind of the situation, how can handle and how can develop the applications? Because we are consuming the we can multiple the services, but multiple nature of the service that things is coming. Yeah.
Understood. Understood your question. So the question is like we are having two different backends. One, we are having the ECC system, and we also have some sort of database which is managed on the cloud. But the nature of the two data, like OData services or the services, not OData services, the nature of the microservices are different. One is an OData service, one might be a REST API. Now, how do you handle this kind of scenario in your application development? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
So always the best approach to do with, you always go with this approach first. You just for your normal OData services, always go with this connectivity cloud connected destination. Inside the destination, what you should do is you just first do the cloud connector setup to your on-premise ECC system, then create a destination like normal destination, how what generally we used to do it. In that destination, you just configure all of your backend system, and the destination would be ready. Check the connection first. That should be the first criteria. Once that's for the first actually main your use case. Second part, where it comes to an kind of like REST API based one, they are also the safest way to go through is basically a cloud connector or a destination. They are also like you just do one thing, create one more destination, give your URL here, and that destination you can consume it in your UI5 or whatever application you're doing it. I'll show you one scenario. As I said, no, I'll be creating Node.js application, and that Node.js application, I'll create a destination, the Node.js URL, and that destination I'm going to consume into a UI5 application. So the same application would be having two different data sources. One would be from the OData service, another should be using the Node. But in that, you need to remember one thing. You can't, as this is basically a REST API, it is not a OData service. You can't call a OData call. You need to call on Ajax call to get the data. I'll show you that one. Okay.
Okay. Ajax. Okay.
Yeah.
Karthik, thing is happen here. I'm working this project, but SAP BTP cockpit access we don't have access on
BTP.
configuration.
Okay.
We are setting the destination, adding that. That's since
Hmm.
we don't have access. Okay, we have access only whatever is providing the
Given.
company. Okay.
Okay. So tell them one thing. So there are two way of handling it. So you tell them, see, generally as per the SAP's guidelines, we should not hard code any URL on the application. So tell them clearly, send a mail like, see, we this is the approach given by SAP. It will be a data security issue. Please create a destination. You can give a reference of a destination and tell them this destination, please create it and give it to us the name of the destination. Then you can utilize. But the thing is like if you don't have access, you need to ask them for the access for a secured application development. Otherwise, if you have the OData service or the service link, you can also run an Ajax call. But there the problem would be you need to like keep the entire URL as a hard coded URL there that anybody can go and check it. That should not be a correct app. You can tell them, justify that.
Okay.
You
Okay.
tell that, yeah.
I have senior on that. I will complete on that part also.
Please check it. Let me know once you have any doubt.
Yeah, sure.
In general, like in the real-time scenarios, uh, yeah, may I go ahead? In general, like real-time scenario, when we want to work on the BTP applications, so who will take care of this configuring all these things and all? Like basis or else like do we need to take care ourselves like all these things, creating an account, or like making up the spaces?
Generally, basis team does that, creating your global account, creating the sub account, creating the space might be also there. They usually take out. Security team generally takes out all the security related assignments and all those things. Connectivity, into the connectivity part, cloud connector setup generally done by the basis team.
Okay.
And there's a destination part generally done by the UI5 developer. Okay. And regarding activation of new services like the service marketplace, if it comes to a proper process, this is also generally done by the project manager or the application space owner. What services to be activated, what service not to activate. The role of a developer is very little here to develop the application on Business Application Studio and deploy it and check the instance. and run the application properly and configure the Fury Launchpad. That's the only thing of a developer. But as a own end-to-end BTP expert, eventually they do all those things. If you know these things, then it will be much more easier to validate and also do by your own. So it is not like that's something really big thing. It's really small thing. Just need to have a like proper documentation is already there. You can also follow that. Just go through and just understand this is how it works to understand the entire flow. Getting my point. But as a developer point of view, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Because
Got it.
I'll tell you one thing. Because if sometimes we have faced one problem, I'll tell you what. Because the problem
Yeah,
just now,
any connectivity issues or any
yeah,
application deployment issues, then we are not sure. And I mean,
yeah,
as a developer, we are the one, we have to at least convey them what is the exact issue. In order to
correct,
validate that, we might need basic knowledge of this, right? What you are
correct,
trying to say.
correct. At the same time, let's say you are getting one straightforward error, access denied. That means you know very well it's a security issue. Then you can directly go and find out that your user, how many roles are there, how many roles are not there. Now, coming to the point, sometimes in your organization, your senior manager or your dev space owner might not give you all this possible accessibility. You might not seen security option. You might have not seen this connectivity option. They might have revoked it, not given the proper like space or proper access. If you are into that zone, then you can't do anything, right? Then you need to learn by your own by creating your own trial. Getting my point.
Yeah.
But if it is available, you can at least go through and try to know the end to end what are the things that are available and what it is doing it. At least the concept, if it is clear, no, then at least you can find out, as you said, no, find out and where is the root causes.
Okay.
Even the memory
Karthik, over to you.
usage, sorry, even the memory usage, like what we discussed, what
Yeah,
color,
yeah.
horizontal scaling, all those things will be taken care by base system, right?
Generally, they don't do it, you know. Generally, as per my experiences, whenever you develop the application, that application log, that application change quota, always generally developer only do it, but it will be with a certain approval. But the logs and everything, that you need to check it.
My question is like to connect on-premise system, we are going to use Cloud Connector. So that Cloud Connector needs to be installed on each PC or it is somewhere in virtual machine?
It is in the virtual machine, and it should be accessible from there. It should not be each PC.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks everyone. I think we're also exiting the time. So tomorrow we'll just go through the Cloud Connector setup. We'll also activate the Business Application Studio for all of you, and given us homework other clarities on the BTP, then we'll jump one by one all other things. Thanks for your time and thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.